Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring SLA Industries 2nd edition. If you haven't seen the other parts of this review, please check out the playlist in the description below. This is a role-playing game of splatterpunk, science fiction noir situations. Very grim, very bleak at times, but there is still a lot of room for cinematic heroism. In this part, we are going to cover operative hours. This is all about the daily experience of operatives and squads within the world of Progress. An SLA operative is glorified as a freelancer that picks and chooses their role in the world of Progress, wearing their sponsorship deals under pristine armor, wandering a photogenic off-world paradise, brandishing the finest composite firepower FEN has to offer. The reality is a different matter altogether, with operatives having to take pretty much any job, from clearing sewers to tangling with a fraying reality, from breaking up an illegal cherry soda soft company to fighting alien monsters, from investigating a serial killer to risking their very soul engaging with a deadly cult, only rarely realizing they are the product SLA pushes on the world of Progress. Operatives have to make ends meet like everyone in Mort City. They need to pay their bills, repair their armor, and pay exorbitant prices for their ammunition. While SLA Industries promises to make the lives of future operatives better, generation after generation of the best and brightest see their efforts rewarded less and less. An operative begins their career as a graduate of many, the main training facility that serves as both university and military boot camp for the successful operative. SLA ops are usually screened for at schools, steered into different classes the moment they turn into teenagers, but some employees will put their children into operative/employee early placement classes at a much younger age. Prospective ops will typically graduate aged between 18 and 24, depending on their aptitude, species, and training packages. Once operatives graduate, they are assigned to a squad, either replacing a dead squad member, making up numbers, or being assigned to a greenhorn squad, where everyone is a fresh recruit. Each squad has a leader, determined democratically, historically, or determined in advance by SLA Industries. Most starting characters will be members of an assigned greenhorn squad, and must come up with a leader and squad name pretty much on the spot. If they can't come up with one in their induction, SLA will assign them a squad name and allocate a leader. A starting operative will generally be able to get a single-room apartment organized in advance of their graduation. This can sometimes play a part in their squad allocation, with SLA Industries preferring to have operatives living in the same sector of downtown. All operatives start their career in Mort City, and very few of them ever leave the planet. Now, when it comes to security clearance levels, very quickly an operative will realize that everything they are able to do, information they need, and the jobs available all hinge on their security clearance level, or SCL. A regular SLA employee will have an SCL of 11, the lowest clearance available. At SCL 10, you are able to buy firearms and openly carry them everywhere. Upon graduation, an operative gains a security clearance badge along with their FEN 603. A badge that says SCL 10 may be looked down upon by experienced operatives, but it is the opening of a lot of doors and signifies the start of new opportunities. SCL can be increased in a few ways, but an operative is most likely to gain more of the company's trust by earning it one step at a time, through blueprint news files or hunter sheets. These two methods of getting jobs are the tried and trusted methods of improving an operative's lot in life, and most operatives will do nothing but blueprint news files or BPNs their entire careers. Increases from BPNs are typically awarded in amounts from 0.1 to 0.4, with an operative usually having to perform at least 3 BPNs flawlessly to gain a letter increase in their security clearance. While this seems like the operatives are at the top of the pile, they know that they answer to SLA Industries and are constantly monitored by station analysis, cloak division, and internal affairs. So to simplify things, you could understand SCL as a sort of social scoring system that allows you greater privileges. For example, when you reach SCL 10, you can bear arms as mentioned earlier, you could buy and sell stocks and shares from SLA Industries, or you could control shiver units at a crime scene the operative is assigned to, and these are just some of the benefits, which means that as long as you follow orders and you do not get on the wrong side of SLA Industries, many doors will be open to you. Let's talk more about Blueprint news files. Once an operative squad has been given their starting equipment, signed their employment contract and found out where they will be living, the clock is ticking and they have to start earning money. Their first job, and possibly every job they ever see, will come in the form of a BPN or Blueprint news file. This docket comes in a variety of colors, each color denoting a type of task. Each BPN will have the title of the job, the amount the squad will be paid per squad or per operative, and the type of attention they are likely to receive. Typically, a squad will head to Slayer's crib, the largest BPN hall and the nearest to the induction center at Central Station, for their first BPN. Once your number comes up, or if your squad name is called over the tannoy, you are expected to make your way to the booth, office or desk of the BPN officer, who is going to take care of you. Smaller halls of varying quality are dotted all around North Central, Uptown and Suburbia, providing operatives choice, but most will head to Slayer's crib, meeting up with other squads and catching up on the latest scuttlebutt before getting their next job. Slayer's crib has a few booths with windows, but most BPN officers have their own cramped office with a desk and in-tray, while operatives will have to wait outside the offices on benches or huddled around small tables with form dispensers and broken pens on chains. Let's talk about BPN officers. A BPN officer's uniform is a blue suit with gold trim, with the outfit's quality decreasing the further away the officer's station is from Central. BPN officers will have a stack of BPNs to allocate and will use favoritism as much as squad proficiencies to decide which jobs you get offered. Some BPN officers specialize in a certain type of BPN and will have only one or two colors available, like Officer Hilgard, who loves sending squads off-world, or Grenfold bluesman Spitani in the shadow of the perimeter wall, who is alleged to get kickbacks from sanitation companies for every blue BPN he deals out. Regardless which officer deals with the squad, there will be forms to fill out. Now let's talk about downtown BPNs. Operatives will likely find most of their missions taking place in inner downtown, and the types of VPNs they will receive and threats they will face runs the gamut. Nearly every collateral enemy of SLA can be found lurking here, and in a short space of time the operative squad will encounter all of them. VPNs based in inner downtown invariably come from Shiver Patrol reports. Shivers are ill-equipped and trained to deal with rival company agents and anything more dangerous than a gang member, so they will just record their findings, pull back to a safe position, and file the paperwork for a VPN. Operatives must gain a well-rounded understanding of the geography, culture, and temperament of downtown. They will find themselves driven to talk to civilians and shivers, learn the layout commonly associated with apartment buildings and subways, so they will know where to track and locate opponents. A squad that's looking for work in inner downtown doesn't have the luxury of a VPN hall, and has to rely on the aged network of VPN terminals, machines that have a display screen and a keyboard for a squad to fill in their details and swipe their leader's SCL card. The machines are old enough that they still use the previous style of VPN card, and unreliable enough that experienced operatives know to write down the details of the VPN on the screen before pressing the print button, as they sometimes don't print out the docket, leaving an operative or a squad with a job allocated to them without giving them a copy of the instructions. The VPNs from terminals are usually local, but occasionally they will hand out an unexpected remote job or a little more than the operative bargained for. Now, when it comes to the departments, SLA Industries as a company is made up of departments, each one with their own ambitions and responsibilities. Smaller departments spring up and die off according to the needs of the company, but there are several departments that define SLA Industries. For example, head office. Head office is a term that encompasses Mr. Slayer's office and the departmental heads that are invited here. If you get a seat at Mr. Slayer's table, you are head office. Everything that SLA Industries does is decided at that table and passed down to the lower departments. When it comes to Cloak Division, it exists to protect SLA Industries and the information it owns. This department works closely with Stig Martyr, threat analysis, station analysis, and internal affairs to protect the company from inside and outside subversive threats. Recently, Naga 7 took an interest in Cloak Division, especially with their recent failure to contain the growing Xi'an cult menace or suppress the information of the return of conflict aliens, and is restructuring the department, quietly bringing it under their control. Then we have Stig Martyr. Stig Martyr agents are often mistaken for Dark Finders, in spite of the gold letter S on their distinct black armor. But Mara Kesok's department was set up to look further than internal subversion and to keep an eye on all things White Earth. They are becoming more active with the recent increased influence of the Xi'an blood cult and its roots in White Earth, and have started offering employment to operatives to investigate or eliminate cult activity in Merge City. The new Orange VPN is the result of their shift in focus. Stig Martyr likes to keep an eye on Bitterness' servants, and is always open to any news of White Earth monitors in the world of progress. Then we have Station Analysis. The information backbone of SLA Industries is Station Analysis, a department dedicated to gathering and disseminating information throughout the company. Working closely with other departments, they maintain the catalogs that Threat Analysis collects and creates. They look after the financial records of each department, with the Department of Housing and the Department of Employment. They maintain the most complete census of civilians, employees, and operatives on Mort and beyond. When Station Analysis takes an interest in a VPN, and they don't want the media covering it, they will mark it accordingly and provide the active operatives with a contact number to call on a headset communicator for any information the squad needs to complete the task. Then we have Third Eye News. Third Eye News are essentially the media. They control local news through subsidiaries and reality entertainment via planet-wide channels. They also have several 24-hour news channels, each dedicated to a different aspect of news, including a corporate-leaning news channel, a violence and crime-focused news channel, and a celebrity news channel. If Third Eye News are interested in your VPN, denoted by checking a box on the docket, they may send a news crew to follow the operative squad, or have a single reporter with a Spot B drone chase them up afterwards. Any disinformation planted by Third Eye News, just like in real life, is pure coincidence. Then we have Threat Analysis, a relatively new department formed out of necessity. Threat analyses were created to document the return of the many conflict species and provide operatives and military alike with the clearest information available. Often sending operative squads off-world, threat analyses are all about categorizing threats with their 4Cs collation system, documenting corporate, cult, conflict, and collateral menaces. Then we have Internal Affairs. Often mistaken for Cloak Division, a mistake they prefer not to correct, Internal Affairs deals with crime and corruption within the company itself. Mostly insider trading and operatives or employees defecting to rival companies, along with more mundane crimes. They use operatives and Cloak Division for direct action, lacking an armed division. When they require the assistance of operatives, they will issue VPNs to engage one or more squads for a task. Then we have Corporate Sector, money, law, and trade. The corporate sector manages the contracts, financing, and logistics of keeping the world of progress moving. With corporates in most departments, the corporate sector is not a department as such, but a collection of small partnerships and offices that work for SLA Industries. They are, for the most part, sharp-suited office workers competing for the larger slices of the pie. Then we have Naga 7. Formed from a secret society, Naga 7 spent part of their history outside of SLA Industries, but have recently returned to the fold. They are attempting to shape the world of progress into what they consider a better society, making the future more solid and holding the crumbling of reality at bay, while investigating the reasons for its collapse. The friendlier face of Naga 7 is the Aetherman, a stalwart defender against the insidious dream that has started to creep into downtown in the form of grey zones and dream entities. Then we have SLA Military. To extend its power and control throughout the world of progress, SLA Industries has always relied on its military arm. SLA Military gets the best weapons and armor, unlike the urban-friendly personal arms allowed on Mort, and is immensely well funded. Besides all of those, there are other departments that sanction work, like the Department of Sanitation's notorious blue VPNs, or the occasional Shiva-related VPN and odd jobs that can come from any department imaginable. There are also subsidiary companies. SLA Industries owns a vast amount of companies that compete with one another, from food and clothes to weapons and armor. While these various companies usually operate as standalone businesses with shareholders, rivalries, and their own unique management structures, they are effectively governed by SLA Industries, who will buy out, close down, or merge them as needed to keep the marketplace balanced, diverse, and profitable. Now, when it comes to money matters in SLA Industries, there are two linked currencies in the world of progress: credits and unis. Credits are a virtual currency equal to 10 unis, while unis are a physical currency with coins and notes changing ownership throughout the known universe. Civilians don't get access to credit accounts, managed through an operative's SCL badge, which acts as a way to keep operative level firepower out of the hands of civilians, as SLA firearms are not sold outside the perimeter wall, and unis are not accepted anywhere within the enclosed keep of suburbia and uptown. In downtown, however, very few shops accept credits, and operatives have to buy unis from dispensers or banks to purchase food. However, the black market is rife with SLA-sanctioned weapons obtained through nefarious means, as well as those made by other rival companies, most notably Dark Knight. There's also information on the finance chip. This is a small semi-biogenetic device that is inserted into an employee or operative's skull. It links the user's brain directly to their bank account, showing their bank balance and the time and date on a heads-up display directly in the user's brain. The finance chip also transmits whatever the employee sees to station analysis to allow for quick, cardless financial transactions. As its popularity wanes, the finance chip is starting to become a worthwhile project failed by departmental overreach. Then we have information of life after death. Life after death, or LAD, is an option available to any starting operative. It's an insurance contract that assures you will be rescued and brought back to life in the event of an untimely death. SLA Industries has invested a lot of money in you and wants you to be productive even after death. Depending on how much you pay to LAD, on how much you have on your LAD account, that's the quality of life resurrection you will get. It serves an operative well to have over 5,000 credits in their account. The LAD process involves a pacer implant attached to the heart and a brain saver implant around the brain. If the brain implant stops getting a signal from the pacer, it secures the brain and keeps the subject alive for up to 20 minutes, long enough for an LAD recovery service to get to you anywhere within the perimeter wall and layers 1 to 3 of inner downtown. Any longer, the subject needs an LED booster attaching to the back of their neck. The booster is a device that injects the subject with all manner of life-preserving meds and slow-release oxygen. An LED booster will add an hour to the subject's recovery time and has been demonstrated to work as far out as Cannibal Sector 1. Then we have information on employment. Operatives and employees are the most commonly thought of SLA workers, but there are other types of employment that can get you a security clearance and advancement in the company. Let's talk about some definitions. First, we have employee. SLA Industries employs a lot of people, and half of them are referred to simply as employees. These are the workers who operate the factories, sell food and clothes, and transport goods. Then we have administration. Falling somewhere between operatives and employees in authority, administration workers do the office jobs and bureaucracy that keeps track of the company's progress. Then we have contract killers. Contract killers are the media darlings, fighting the good fight in front of a camera. They usually only have an SCL of 11 and are forbidden from operative duties, in spite of their fame and fortune on the contract circuit, a glorified arena where they fight each other for entertainment. Occasionally, a contract killer will be attached to a squad and cause them all sorts of trouble. Then we have contract hunters. They are part big game hunters, part bounty hunters. Contract hunters are long gun wielding, crawler driving, safari poaching hunters from Tracar. SLA Industries uses these hunters to track down criminals that are on the run, or elusive targets that have skipped off-world. Then we have SLA Industries soldiers. Most SLA military employees never make it back from war worlds, and those that do are either quiet and reclusive, or return with their battles unfinished, taking to the cannibal sectors as ex-war criminals. Most operatives will never meet an active service SLA Industries soldier unless they venture out to a war world on a green VPN, where they will see how much better the military equipment is than theirs. There are also trustees. A trustee is a former operative who has been assigned to a particular SLA Industries department. Operatives are usually assigned to this department when they become too valuable to gallivant around downtown. Then we have sector rangers. Early in an operative's training, a small number of them are pulled aside and trained as sector rangers. If the operative can cope with the sorts of stresses the cannibal sectors throw up, they are sent to train as a sector ranger instead, and will end up working as explorers and researchers in the unforgiving sectors. Next we have corporate. Corporates work for firms and partnerships in the corporate sector, moving the money around and formulating contracts to keep everyone in their place. Then we have Dark Finder. Cloak Division has its own police force for Mort Central and Uptown. These are the Dark Finders. They wear custom Crackshot X armor in varying shades of black. Then we have Shivers. They are the gang in green, Mort's police force. Having taken over the duties of the disbanded Monarch Law Enforcement and getting sent out to fight to reclaim Cannibal Sector 1 in the Bellwood campaign, the Shivers have a lot on their plate. Many of them actually resent operatives, considering them to be overpaid printing show ponies. Then there's the Watchful Eye. SLA Industries is a panopticon of entertainment, with the streets as its stage and operatives as the players. Every house in Mort has a television, and they don't have an off switch. The media is constantly looking for entertainment, and there is little their audience enjoys more than watching operatives dealing out justice and progress to the enemies of SLA Industries. With the Shivers of the Bellwood campaign stealing the screens for the last few years, it's once again the operatives' turn to keep the unemployed in their TV watching couches. Television crews are always ready to tag onto a squad on the job, as long as the job looks interesting and the squad looks good. An operative wanting to get sponsorship or any media deal needs an agent. Corporate agents are sometimes operatives themselves, while others work from an office in Uptown or Mort Central. Now let's talk about sponsorships. Sponsorship deals come in many forms, with more notoriety bringing in bigger and better sponsors. With a good agent, you can start looking for sponsors at SCL 9. But as your SCL increases, so do your opportunities. Let me give you some examples. At SCL 9, entry-level independent sponsors will get you 50 credits a month and the occasional freebie to be seen with. Power drinks, beers, entry-level clothing deals. A small indie sponsor will likely stay with the operative for life. If you are SCL 7, media companies start taking an interest in the operative, offering 150 credits a month for prominent placement of their logo. If the operative suits their brand, TV channels and newspapers are probable. And if you reach SCL 5, departments take an interest in the Operative for 250 credits a month, occasionally leading to trustee offers. And that concludes this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. As you can see, life is quite busy, hard, and hierarchical, perhaps a tad dogmatic when it comes to working for SLA Industries. And this is just scratching the surface. You already know, because of the background in the other parts of this review, that it's a very shady sort of lifestyle. You cannot work in SLA Industries without getting your hands dirty, very dirty. In the next part of this review, we are going to talk about character creation and the races and species within SLA Industries. Well, once again, thank you, and thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. See you later.